Let me show these suckers how to ball out here. Oh, man, let's get this together here. Oh, layup. Oh, shot. Oh, three. Oh, it's like Brick City out here. Mid-range. Oh, my goodness. I can't buy a bucket out here. I missed the whole damn basket. Oh, my goodness. What's going on, man? My game is looking trash. Oh, here we go. Black Power Media shirt. Now we cooking. Trees. I'm taking on three of y'all with these right here. Between the legs. Oh, my goodness. Behind the back. Layup. Oh, did he just do a reverse? He is in beast mode out here. I ain't got to look. It's falling. Oh, my goodness. This guy is going 3, 2, 1. Kobe. Nice. Black Power Media, baby. Nice. Empower yourself. Go get you some of that Black Power Media again. Right here, blackpowermedia.org. Yeah.
I mix what I like. Hey, what's up, world? Welcome to another edition of I Mix What I Like right here on Black Power Media. Again, I'm Jared Ball, very happy to be your host. And the mic is not working, so I'll be right back. Did that do it? It's so wild how that works. I do not understand. I apologize, everybody. I just literally did all these tests. Yeah, it did. It's impossible to tell on this end when you're on your own. That's why I got to work in teams and collectives. Anyway, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you've joined the platform if you can. blackpowermedia.org for all that and more. The donate button's right there at the top. Patreon, pick your capitalist poison for supporting the platform. Just a short one. I'm not going to take up too much of your time here. A quick lunchtime, a lunchtime quickie, a political afternoon delight, if you will. But so I'm actually in the middle of classes, auto repairs, home repairs. It's been but also my little review of Dr. Orasami Burton's Tip of the Spear, editing that now, and having also the fortune of being in some exchange with him around a couple of things. One is taking me a little longer to put together because it's a little more involved, which is a more direct look at the overlap between what his work focuses on and what some of mine at least does with the origins of mass communication research. He's already pointed me to a couple of things. But in addition to that, he's been pointing me to a couple of things related to another area of all of our interests, which is propaganda, psychological warfare. And there's been fascinating developments in the last few weeks as that are instructive for a number of reasons, but not the least of which includes a look at how media and propaganda work and the importance of it to those in power. We keep thinking we're encouraged at least to think of it as a game, or as something not as serious as it really is. So let me just pull a couple of these up real quick. So one, I'll kind of go in reverse order here in terms of, they got it again. Oh, Dr. Burton, they got it again. All right. So one of the things I was going to show you, he had sent me a TikTok, which, but a young man, apparently a popular young white boy TikToker, who is saying in that clip, hey, I was offered, I think, $5,000 to start doing pro-Israel TikToks. I looked at it and went back to get it and told Dr. Burton this morning, hey, it's gone. And he sent me another link, and then the link he just sent me that I thought was used now, that whole account is gone. So Let me move on to number 2. Oh, you're joking. You're joking. No way. Okay. All right. My bad. All of the links are in the show description already, by the way. But as I think you'll notice, the one for the TikToker. Oh no, it is there. Oh no, I'm wrong. Hold on. Here we go. So the new one is there. Okay, here we go. My bad. Here we go. Back at it. So just refresh.
This is so strange. My video of me talking about how I was offered $5,000 to support Israel publicly on my TikTok page was just taken down. This email was sent to my business email that I have set up with my management, where they basically say if I go live and pledge my support to Israel, they'll give me $5,000, saying I've fallen for the lies of rabid dogs and it's essential to not spread the lies of terrorists. An absolutely horrible racist email. And I know I'm far from the only influencer right now who's getting emails and offers like this. This was the comment section of that video. One mutual got offered $2,500. Another mutual got offered $750. Another mutual said the same people hit him up. And those are just my friends. I've seen plenty of videos on TikTok of people showing different messages, different dollar amounts, of people offering them to pledge their support to Israel online. So this is something 100% real that is happening to influencers. Israel is trying to buy support for their war. You cannot buy my morals. You cannot buy my opinions. No amount of money will make it okay with me for Israel to be murdering thousands of innocent Palestinians, cutting off all food, water, electricity, and fuel access, because that is wrong. That is the type of stuff terrorists do. Terrorism in response to terrorism does not cancel out. It's still exactly what it is. Terrorism. Free Palestine. Watch out for influencers who've been bought out. And as always, have a great night, guys.
All right. So initially, and if you have any skepticism as I would have had watching that cold or whatever, out of context or on its own, hold that thought. In other words, hold the thought of your concern about seeing this discussed in TikTok, if you feel that way, seeing this discussed in TikTok, or what kind of source is this guy on his little video? I admit that's a thing for me too. But hold that thought, because it is going to be relevant here in a moment. And so yeah, but initially at least that's how I feel when I see these things. And I think I've even asked some people to stop sending me TikToks because I don't like them as sources, and I don't ever feel like they do the source material justice. But that notwithstanding, let's move on here a little bit to another piece sent to add a little bit of context here from the outlet Semaphore from this morning. No, from the 9th. Sorry, that is today, but the 9th. According to Liz Hoffman and Ben Smith, billionaires discuss $50 million in anti-Hamas media blitz. All right. Wall Street and Hollywood billionaires have discussed in recent weeks a plan to spend as much as $50 million on a media campaign to quote, define Hamas to the American people as a terrorist organization, end quote. Oh, this is perfect for a media studies course and for my course on public opinion, propaganda, persuasion, whatever. All of these courses, this is perfect. Sorry, I just got a funny, yeah, okay. So there is from the perspective of those defending Israel, there's a need to define Hamas to the American people as a terrorist organization, and they want to spend millions to do it, tens of millions. Not for healthcare, houselessness, food, education, but to convince people that Hamas are terrorists, we got to come up with tens of millions of dollars. Real estate billionaire Barry Sternlicht launched a campaign in the days after October 7th attacks on Israel, and the email viewed by Semaphore sought $1 million donations each from dozens of the business world's wealthiest people, including CNN owner David Zaslav and Endeavor CEO and talent agent Ari Emanuel, who some of us will know is the brother of Ram, Obama's former chief of staff and mayor of Chicago. And of course, Ari is famous for his role in whatchamacallit, that TV show. There is a great scene where that character is being invited into the power above him, and the character Ari in that show. What was that HBO show? Whatever it was, but there's this scene where he's discussing with who would be his boss or main or investor or whatever, and the guy tells him, I think it was the owner of the studio that Ari worked for, and the guy tells him, he says, Ari, right now I pay you enough, you can go into any store and anywhere in the world and buy whatever you want. He said, but if you stay with me, you will own the stores that people like you go into. Entourage, thank you, Bellamy, Elon, Red Sea, all of you. Thank you very much. So I've always enjoyed scenes like that where you get a little gem of truth about wealth and levels. But continuing here, the campaign would aim to distinguish between anti-Semites and the Palestinian situation, he wrote. A U.S. and global media increasingly focused coverage as U.S. global media and global media increasingly focused coverage on deaths in Gaza, potentially eroding sympathy and support for Israel. Public opinion will surely lift as scenes, real or fabricated by Hamas, of civilian Palestinian suffering will surely erode Israel's current empathy in the world community, he wrote. We must get ahead of the narrative. So first of all, I love that. Public opinion will surely shift as scenes, real or fabricated. So as, never mind the unjustifiable claims of fabrication. I mean, the idea that people who have very little resources, power, electricity, internet, food, water, internet, are going to somehow be able to stage mass death. But he's acknowledging, in other words, if the real story gets out, public opinion will surely shift. Yeah, duh. It's really hard to justify what you're doing. So we have to get ahead of the narrative and start by painting these people as terrorists. The email was sent to more than 50 household names, including the media mogul David Geffen, investors Michael Milken and Nelson Peltz, and tech luminaries Eric Schmidt and Michael Dell. All told, the recipients have a net worth of nearly $500 billion, according to Bloomberg and Forbes data. So again, of course, because they accumulated that wealth off the backs of this level of oppression, they're not going to use that wealth to handle the oppression. They want to use the wealth as all those in power have ever only wanted to use wealth in terms of its relationship to media, to produce the narrative, the public opinion, the psychological warfare, the propaganda, the conclusions that we are all meant to draw. Some of those on the chain have already been vocal already. Investor Bill Ackman and Apollo CEO Mark Rowan criticized universities for their handling of pro-Palestinian student demonstrations, and Michael Bloomberg donated $44 million to Israel's nonprofit Emergency Medical Service. So the people with billions of dollars of aid and all the technology and all the resources are getting support for their medical service. Those without any of that are being bombed with the claim that their hospitals are atop Hamas fighters. Some have criticized the Israeli government as well. Emmanuel denounced Bibi Netanyahu just days after the attack, saying, I just think it's time we get rid of this man. Okay, but get rid of him in what way? By giving him and his administration more money to continue what they're doing? Or to stand in solidarity with the people who he's abusing? They've called for a media blitz to define Hamas, not just the enemy of Israel, but of the United States, because, of course, they know even with all the propaganda and the history and the mythology around the Bible and all this other kind of stuff, not everybody's going to be on board with supporting Israel. But they might if they think the U.S. is also a threat. Recent polling from the University of Maryland and Ipsos found that a groundswell of support since October 7th attacks for Israel isn't shared by younger liberal Americans. And there is our segue to our last piece for this political afternoon delight. That is sort of the coup de grace, or was the late great Red Fox, as Fred Sanford would have said, the coup de grace. I'm going to show you now, or the coup de grazie. It is still a favorite of mine when I was still in the military and we go on that trip. We're sent overseas and we're in Paris, and the tour guide said, well, I know you're Americans and can't really pronounce stuff, so you don't have to call it the Champs-Élysées. You can call it the Champs-Élysées. I'll never forget that, the Champs-Élysées. He hated Americans so much. It was hilarious. American youth break free from Zionist yokes, according to the Tehran Times. But not really according to them, because they're really only reporting what is this? The coup de grace. Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the ADL, CEO of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. We've talked plenty about that. Check the other videos, please. And like, share, subscribe to the platform. Put this in your socials. Don't forget, you can also help us algorithmically, if not materially. And I can't find it. That's terrible. Bye.
Put it in the comments.
And is he still with Comedy Hype? But help us hit a... Okay. All right, let's check this out. Listen. Pay attention. The audio's not great, but the transcript is at the bottom. But this is all just bars and gems. So.
But I also want to point out that we have a major generational problem. All the polling I've seen, ADL's polling, ICC's polling, independent polling, suggests this is not a left-right gap, folks. The issue in the United States of support for Israel is not left and right. It is young and old.
So that's just the beginning. I mean, but he's confirming what was just reported in the other piece I showed. This is not left-right. There's a generational problem. It's a major generational problem that the ADL and Zionists are facing.
Shockingly and terrifyingly high. And so we really have a TikTok problem, a Gen Z problem.
Boom. There it was. So if you remember that, where we started with this whole TikTok influencer payola, he's saying we have a Gen Z problem. We have a TikTok problem. We got to get busy. And Tagly, just another platform used by Zionists and other whoever again, they see social media and media in general as public relations, propaganda, psychological warfare. It's not entertainment. It's a delivery system. By the way, that was what I was saying earlier when they were falsely claiming to be upset about Facebook's infiltration and social media's infiltration and the Chinese and TikTok. What they're really saying is we want these platforms for us, for our use. So to the extent that anyone else can use these platforms to influence the way we're trying to, it's a problem. And if you also remember, I mentioned the 2018 report that the military was running war games because they saw in general Gen Z was being lost and becoming a threat because they were not going to receive what they were being promised. So that, yeah, you have a Gen Z problem. You have a whole new generation of people being welcomed into the reality that that they are the fish who have not discovered water.
Like fast. Because again, like we've been chasing this left-right divide. It's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation. And the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Last thing I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th. The language of groups that we've long tracked, who've long been problematic, like Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace.
Again, groups we have long tracked. Remember some of the research I mentioned a little while ago about the ADL's history of surveillance and infiltration and attempts to stifle the work of Black liberation, Arab liberation, radical groups of all kinds. This organization is a problem. And they have a problem, which is somewhat entertaining.
They flipped like this and went to like Iranian propaganda. The language I could show you from their toolkits.
Shout out to the Tehran Times.
Because our analysts are in their groups. We saw this again on October the 8th. It was that fast. Like the language in their toolkits was all about the Zionist entity and lots of other language that we recognized from Iranian propaganda. We think there's something more to this that's below the waterline. It's the young generation we need to be focusing energy on.
So again, before it was Black people and others being, and you're going to see him use the phrase in a minute, Black people and others becoming the useful idiots of Russia. If we don't vote for who we're supposed to, it's always some other entity influencing us in a way that they're admitting they're not able to influence us, without recognizing that maybe it's not just this outside influence and propaganda. Maybe it's just a recognition that politically and analytically, in terms of behavior, you are wrong. But no, it's much more. Well, it's much more along with the messaging to say no, that you have all succumbed to some outside propagandized influence.
There's something happening with Iran and how it's now their propaganda and their language and their tactics seem to be bleeding into the American kind of activist space in ways that are very different than NIAC and very, very problematic.
National Islamic, what was it? Advisory Council. I'm sorry. Somebody in the chat will know, but the exact. Oh, so look, that was really it. I don't have to belabor the point too much, but just wanted to share some of that as we are experiencing the propaganda war that is meant to be the parallel of the literal violent aspects of war that the Palestinians are suffering most directly. I think we all get it. It's yeah, and I see some of the sentiments in the chat. It's not. I know some of you and some of us will feel less likely to be shocked by this, but I think it is important. I'm thinking specifically of students in my classes. We shouldn't be shocked to the extent that, again, they're not targeting us in these spaces. We're already sort of the useful idiot lost souls. They are the battle is for the next several generations. And to them, this is shocking, I think, to be exposed and made aware of what's actually happening and the contestation around media spaces and the public sphere. And why I keep saying, and well, showing from their perspective, it's not just entertainment. It's not just, there's only the political function of winning the narrative and the politics of definition. So yeah, we are the lost cause. We are the lost cause. So shout out to Dr. Burton again. Please be reading Tip of the Spear. I'm about to go into another a second and third, well, second read obviously first, but there's just too many gems, too much detail, too many acronyms, too much data, too much research. And then I was so enamored by the bars and the analysis overall that I'm sure there's a lot of detail that I've just not properly consumed. So please do consume it yourselves. And we got to have many more discussions around that book. Oh no, thanks for making the comments, Jordan. Big shout out to you and everybody. Appreciate you. So, and thanks again to him for sending this to me. So thanks everybody. Please make sure that we don't get caught up.
You just don't read, beloved.
So if you need to take a moment and
Pause
and sit down and read something. Anyway, thanks again. Please do make sure you like, share, subscribe, support the platform in any way you can. Put this in your socials. Please check out the Mtume Grant discussion around media and the little clips I've been putting out because, oh my goodness, that was also bars. I just love that whole thing. And thanks, everybody. Peace if you're willing to fight for it, like Malcolm, like Fred Hampton used to say, and let's get free by any means necessary. Catch you next time here at I Mix What I Like. Thanks.
I mix what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like, what I like.